Welcome to Azure Infinitum Podcast. This is your host, Master Reika Fujishima, also known as Hikaru Kazushime online. Here with us today we have several members of our leadership team. We have Lieutenant Mistithgar Arodica. And Lieutenant Nora Swift.
Hello. Lieutenant
Oshkosh B'gosh. And General Terry Mckinney with us today.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
And today is our first episode back on Azure Infinitum Podcast after quite a while. It has been about a year, roughly, since we last recorded an episode. We put the podcast on a little bit of a break because there was a lot of focus going into getting ready for Endwalker for Final Fantasy XIV. The latest expansion dropped in December. Originally slated for earlier than that, and then we just kind of had to adjust a bunch of plans and never really got around to recording, and just said, okay, well, let's rethink the podcast once we get through this, this next big community threshold. So we did that. Endwalker was an amazing success. We finished our Resurgence Carillion project, which we used to talk about quite a bit on the older episodes of the podcast. Some of you listening prior might remember that. Since then, we have had a number of overhauls and adjustments and edits to how we have our structure here in Azure. And so quite a bit has changed within the last year, but same great Azure you all know and love. And we're here to talk about some really, really super duper awesome upcoming stuff that we've got going on this week. It's a big week this week. We've got the patch on Tuesday, which we're recording right now. It's actually Monday. Patch is actually tomorrow, and we're going to talk about patch 6.2 for Final Fantasy XIV a little bit later in the podcast. But it is quite exciting. A lot of people are looking forward to that. It's the first patch in about 4 months or so, something like that. And and about 4, something like that. And so we've got a whole new set of raids, quite a bit of content. Island Sanctuary, everybody's been waiting for, so we're gonna get into that in a little bit. And then ending the week, we have Azure Summer Fest 2022, which is back after another year. Woohoo! And we put a lot of work into this one. So we're going to talk about a bit about that and what to expect for any attendees coming to our Summer Festival this weekend, and what to expect there. Azure Infinitum has reached a few milestones since we last had our podcast. As for the Endwalker expansion, releasing in December last year, we seen a record-breaking number of people online in the FF14 Free Company. I don't have the actual highest number here, but we know it was like upwards of 200 at one time. It was really, really insane. For those that may or may not know, like FC activity ratios, when you have an active model like Azure Infinitum runs weekly events and continues to uphold a sort of this inactivity and activity policy that kind of sorts out who we've got as a ratio online and offline. We try to work on different time zones. That way we can work to provide an active environment for our members. It's our goal to continue to try to keep the roster clean and keep it open to to active membership, as well as clearing off those that might not show up, or people that have gone MIAs for so long. I know a lot of people in our community know how it works, but for those who don't, we do our best to keep this thing as organized as possible. So that's why we like to market ourselves as an active, organized, and friendly community with our no drama policy and our policies on activity, weekly events, and our support and leadership team that helps run them each week. We try to provide the best Azure Infinitum that we can. We manifest the best community with the most activity that we can of the most time zones, and that is challenging sometimes. That can be challenging. There's a good core of our community that does stick together, and then of course you have new recruits and those that kind of fall off the radar. But no matter what, everybody that is carrying the Azure name and crest is part of the fam here, and we like to have a lot of fun throughout the week. If you have not checked out our event schedule, please go to azureinfinitum.com and check out the event calendar. There's quite a bit on there. Let's see, how many do we have running through the week now?
Yeah, I got the
more than
countdown
7
up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Are we running that many a week?
I know we're running at least.
I thought we were doing ASF. I'm reading the ASF schedule.
No.
We have just the weekly schedule.
we have one event at least every day of the week, with the exception of
I believe it's
second
8.
and fourth Saturdays.
Yep.
Oh, we'll be doing Pandemonium that's starting this week.
Panda Tuesdays and also Destiny.
Yep, yep. So there's our Destiny event. It's also running for our Destiny Wing at the same time or similar times to raid time, which for the the odd patches are the 24-man Fridays. I'm still saying that 24-man Tuesdays. Sorry, we did Fridays for so long. 24-man Tuesdays, which is now ended for now. It's on a hiatus because Azure Pandemonium Tuesdays starts tomorrow with the Pandemonium 5 through 8 normal runs. So we're going to be doing those. And we're going to be doing those at prime time and late night times. So definitely look out for the banner showing up. And we're going to be listing that like all over the place. Same grouping time for the 24-man raids. Our usual grouping time across the community, which is 5:45 p.m. PST, which is also 8:45 p.m. EST. But
speaking of the new raids, what's the eye level requirements going to be for the new raids?
I believe, isn't it going to be 590?
That should
595 for some reason.
I think 595, 600.
Is that in the preliminary patch notes?
It's definitely not going to be 600.
I'm going to pull it up right now.
I mean, just based on the last Shadowbringer stuff, I think it would be 595.
590 or something sounds about right.
I want to say about 590, maybe 595. I know it was listed somewhere. I just don't have it on hand right now. Here, let me Michael Google that real quick.
I pulled up the patch notes, but I don't see anything. It just says where to find the quest.
It'd be nice to see some new content come out.
Yeah,
definitely.
Maybe some more hints towards what the next expansion is going to be. The 7-0, this is my personal prediction. We're going to the void.
Yoshi gave a little bit of a hint in an interview.
I did no such thing
recently. His hint said that patch 6.5 will completely reveal it. So he said 6.5 is going to reveal exactly what to expect for 7.0. And the things that lead up to 6.5 could be misleading. So
listen, I'm still putting it out there. My bet is on the void.
It's a very, very good possibility, because this game has a way of surprising me often, because for years I have tried to predict things and I've been very, very close. 3.0, we kind of all knew Ishgard was happening, and then when it got announced at the end of 2014, we were like, okay, cool, Heaven's Word, we're going to Ishgard, we're going to Dravania, all that, and we're dealing with the whole Dragon Song War thing. But what about after that? My bet was always on Alamigo, and bam, there we go. We had Alamigo. So we went to Alamigo, and then after that I was like, well, Garlemald. And 5.0 wasn't Garlemald. 5.0 was going to a whole other world, and so that threw me for a loop, because I was like, okay.
And that's why I'm calling the void.
Yeah, now we never know what to expect. And so now we're looking at the void, but if we try to guess the void, I kind of feel like the game is going to surprise us and say, no, you're going to the second or something.
Yoshi. Yoshi P's listening to this
I gotta
podcast. He's like, they called it. We have to redev everything. Patch
I gotta-
postponed.
I gotta say, I love what they did with the latest expansion. You know, they just kind of threw some old school in there. It was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
yes.
Yeah, definitely. There's FF4 references everywhere. Like
The music was,
I know,
even
I know.
even the fight
In
music,
moon.
yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In the
great.
in the Laparitz area, like hearing that FF4 battle music was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of 4 references in this expansion.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because back in Heaven's Word, they made the I think it was the collector's items that came with it was like a Sissel what's it, like a Cecil headpiece or something, and then I think they gave out something else for related.
Wasn't it the chicken knives?
There's that too, but I can't remember. I think it was like Cecil's headgear or something for 3.0, and then like here we are 3 more patches or 3 more expansions later, and it's like now it's 4. But they gave out the well, not gave out, they sold the FF4 minions for FanFest.
Well, yeah. So going back to predictions, though, let's make this interesting. 100 Grand Gale says we're going to the void.
I'll see that bet. I'll put 100 on we're going to Mericidia.
Very, very, very good prediction there.
All right. So this is recorded, though. So that's the important thing.
Yeah,
Yep.
you guys are on.
So, Mericidia would make a lot of sense, especially because that's where a lot of the dragons had settled after coming from their star, and then the Allagans, of course, had gone there to conquest and made a pact with the Void. To basically, the pact was like if the Cloud of Darkness and the Void gave the Allagans their forces, all the bodies slain in Mericidia would be host for new Voidkin, so they could have new bodies and live outside the Void. And that went terribly, terribly wrong. And Mericidia should be, if we go there, or when we go there, rather, should be packed full of terrible things. So there was a lot of like genocide and all kinds of crazy stuff that went down. The Mikote are originally from Mericidia. Mikote are originally from Mericidia, and there used to be there was like a tree race that was there, the ones that worshipped Sephiroth, and the people that worshipped Sophia, which there's a lot of lore about what happened to them in her song, and then the lizard people that worshipped Zervan. So I think Mericidia is a good bet because what's his name? Like Vitra.
Oh yeah, it's Vitra. Yeah,
Okay.
Vitra, I
Okay.
think.
Vitra, has memories of that whole situation, and the Void is kind of tied with Mericidia because of what the Allagans did. So at least with that, scenario deep in the past. So maybe there's going to be kind of like with Endwalker and Stormblood, we had like 2 directions of story to go to. There was like exploring the Far East, and then there was exploring what was going on in Alamigo territory in Garabania. So what if we're saving the Void by going to Mericidia and finding out some stuff we didn't know, and then
I was literally about to say I imagine this being a split focus scenario.
Oh, totally. I don't think we're seeing New World until like 8.0.
Yeah.
They might do it like how Endwalker split scenario worked,
Yeah.
which is you had 5 zones normally, and then you had the 1 zone back in the past.
That'd be really interesting.
So like just like 5 zones in Mericidia, and then 1 zone that's in the Void, maybe.
And they have
if they do
so
it
much
split.
they could work with. We could explore the universe in this game. Like we could explore the past entire Unsundered world. Like we could explore more of Heidelin or more of Aetheris as it is now. God, there's like so much. I mean, Yoshi said that he wanted to make sure that he at least had 10 more good years on 14.
Yeah, it's...
Yeah.
And then
I'm pumped for it.
you know what he said in the last interview? He keeps increasing it. He said, "I hope the next 30 years."
30 years
He's
later, we're all
playing this
playing
game
like
pushing
SAO
70.
style. But we're all jacked in with
I
our
know, right?
headsets on.
Oh, even better. He talked about quantum computing MMOs and future, like the whole future of that, how they could provide like massive realistic virtual worlds, and he was hoping that
What?
14 would be a big part of inspiring that one day and stuff like that.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like the recent interview, he went really far on that, but it was really, really entertaining to think about. All this we're used to today being, there's this great current modern MMO, and it surpasses a lot of old MMOs in so many ways. But then, like, what if this is like just the beginning, and then the future? It's full of so many possibilities. Quantum MMOs. Man, the amount that they would be able to process.
I don't know why. I just had this horrific Log Horizon-esque vision in my head of Reika just slowly pushing up a pair of glasses up her nose. And I was just like, it's the vision glasses.
Yep, so much ahead. So, okay, let's go back to 6.2 and 7.0 stuff in just a moment, and let's talk a little bit about this weekend first. Okay, so taking place this weekend, starting Friday, August 26th, each day for the 26th, 27th, and the 28th events are going to start at 12 PST noon, which is also 3 p.m. Eastern and 2 p.m. Central, each day for 3 days straight. We are going to be kicking off things with opening ceremonies. It's a bit of a good gathering moment for people to kind of just hang out, see what's going on, talk about things, hear about why we do this, and what sort of fun is coming up, and of course the schedule's open to everybody, but like we just like to kind of go over how things will go instead of just talking about every event on the schedule. It's also reminding people in the FC that there will be events called out in FC chat. FC chat's definitely not going to be normal this weekend. It's going to be full of comments about the events, chaos, hilarity, comments about what's grouping when. There's a few events that actually specifically say that to keep an eye on FC chat, because that's where certain things like the starting riddle for the riddle race or other things like that will be announced first, so everybody can see it. But we are running a super duper hide and seek elimination challenge, the return of our Parkour Panic events, jump puzzle race. And so aptly named Parkour Panic. Trivia Rush has got a massive upgrade now. Prior to this upgrade, Trivia Rush was a game where we had 3 lanes of squares at an estate, where we would give some rapid fire trivia, and then people had like 10 seconds to type it in and then see who got the most recognizably correct answer. and they would move forward towards a finish line, win some prizes. This time, however, we have an entire mansion basement that's empty, full of like multiple lanes, like 10 lanes.
Let me guess, Akios.
Nope, actually it's Sebastian and Alice's.
Oh wow!
Akios Basement is a set for Company Feud, which is also it's about two events after Trivia Rush.
Why did I think he had turned the top floor for Company Feud?
The top floor is actually of Akios is for something else even.
No, right. That's
his
runway. That's his runway.
Yep, we do the cosplay or glamour show, I should say.
Man, I'm missing everything this year.
It would be too much of a pain to reset the top floor, especially with the Hall of Fame off to the side.
Yeah. We got that really cool little room of the.
Have I even finally been knocked out of the Hall of Fame, by the way?
The Victor's Chamber. No, he's got a lot of mannequins in there, so it's a good couple years worth of first place people that get immortalized.
It's kind of disturbing how many mannequins Akios packed in there.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So for those,
I gotta get to work.
The Azure Terracotta Army.
Yeah.
Those who don't know what we're talking about, over at Lieutenant Akio Onishi's estate in Shirogane, Ward plot 32, Ward 16. He's got a really lovely stage set up, a little side room for grouping attendees for our glamour shows, or anything else that we need like a big stage for. But to the side, he has a separate room with mannequins that all have the glamour of the first place winners. So it's kind of a historic little winners hall thing. So it's pretty cool. I know I can't remember everybody that's already in there off the top of my head. It's been a minute, and I think we had
Ori,
Emmett Selk, but it was like General Sebastian did an Emmett Seba thing.
Yeah. Seba did Emmett Selk, I did Jack of Blades, and Ori did Kite, I think, from .hack.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I remember Kite and Jack of Blades.
It was a really good glam, too. That was one of the ones I was considering doing, but I didn't have time, so I just threw together that really...
Wait, which one were you considering doing?
Kite from Dot Hack.
Ah,
But
Oh man.
I didn't want to level Ninja enough to get gear to do it, and then I'm like, you know what? I forgot to do a costume at all, so I bought a whole bunch of cheap stuff off the auction house and just went as Alex from Clockwork Orange.
I just love that I completely broke Stefan by doing Jagged Blades.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, he was so excited to see that. I was excited to see it too because Fable was one of my older favorite games on Xbox.
stand around, eat a whole bunch of chickens in front of a door.
Okay. Next Azure streaming now. I'll pull out about lost chapters, right?
Yeah, just go to that one door that requires you to be full evil and just eat a whole bunch of live baby chickens.
Oh my god.
Man. Well,
So we're gonna bleep this entire part out, right?
I don't know about that. We'll see. So let's see. Aside from eating a bunch of baby chickens in front of an evil door, we've got our Grand Duel tournament is returning at 5 p.m. PST on this Friday. It's the first time we've had a Grand Duel tournament or PvP one-on-one bracketed tournament taking place this Friday, where Phelana Breeze, our current champion, will be defending the title, the Infinitum Championship, once again.
Good luck, guys.
I know last time Phelana fought and took it back from Lucinda, which is quite a while ago now. There was a lot of bets on who was going to win. Like it was super divided between Lucinda and Phelana.
Yeah.
And
that is a tough call. Like,
yeah, it was rough. It was really rough. It was like Goku and Vegeta fighting. Like we had no idea what was going to happen with that.
who trained more off screen?
And then following that, a couple hours later, we've got Company Feud, 7 p.m. PST on Friday, followed by a little break time and a one of our 18+ events, late night Friday, Cards Against Eorzea, our little online Discord / browser Cards Against Humanity game, which it's something.
It gets pretty crazy.
It gets pretty crazy, yeah.
Check your
And,
sensibilities at the door.
It is highly requested, though we usually only do it during, Azure Days or Azure Day weekends or, Summerfest, like our quarterly events, our quarterly special weekend events like this. So some people like to hang out and do their own game on, patch nights, waiting for patches to come live and stuff like that. But during these, we actually get, like, a good amount of people. So maybe 20+ people in a room reading off obscenities and laughing hysterically. But just remember, it is a not safe for work event. Cards Against Eorzea.
That's an understatement.
10 p.m. PST
Against
on
Humanity is
Friday.
always
I'm
pretty
really
rough,
just
but
excited
with our
for
sense of humor, it gets
Azure
pretty
for
bad.
So-
But have you met our membership?
See how degenerate your leadership is, guys. Come on down.
Saturday, August 27th, we have our parade gathering followed by the actual Summer Festival parade. Summer Festival parade is also kind of treated like an RP walk event. So we cross a bunch of zones together, marching together in the name of Azure. A great blue, sea floating down these zones as onlookers watch.
We've actually gathered a couple of prominent members by doing that too.
I was just thinking of that.
Yeah.
Like, it's really funny how, there was this one guy that comes to mind, and he just looked over at the parade and he said, "What is this?" And then as we're watching him, like waving and stuff and blowing off fireworks and being crazy, we literally saw his FC tag disappear, and an application came in at that same moment. We're like, oh my god! Like, I almost felt bad. Like,
Actually, no, didn't you recruit me during your parade?
I don't even know. Well, I thought you were recommended.
Well, Nora dragged me back to FF after I quit to
Okay.
join Azure, and I think you guys wound up accepting my invite during a parade.
Yeah, our parade is like a. Have you guys ever played Katamari Damacy? Katamari games? No.
I know of them.
Okay.
Roll around your ball.
Yeah. I've seen that one.
Yeah, you roll, but you pick up everything that you're rolling.
Yeah.
So the parade is like slowly picking up people as it goes down the road.
People who don't even join us, who have no interest in joining us, but feel like being part of something, they'll just come around and hang out. We'll stop at like an inn somewhere on the map, and we'll all just start popping bottles. And
that's why we call it a pub crawl, because we stop at like places like the Drowning Wench, or maybe Biscar and Scar in Southern Shroud. And when we do that, we do raffles. So the parade does have stops and does do raffles on those stops. So it's not only an event where you can come and show your Azure Pride or wear some summer glam for this one, and just be silly and fun and get some unique screenshots of tons of people going down the road and all the craziness that comes with that and celebration. But you can also come and actually maybe win some raffles too. And we've got
I'm looking at the parade recruitment from last year's Summer Fest, which was in June. We did an early Summer Fest in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
So during the parade, I'm trying to think who's is big and still around. Yuki Eve we grabbed during that parade.
Wait, did you say Summerfest in June?
No, it wasn't Summer. What did we do June 2021? We did a big parade.
That was an Azure Day weekend.
Yeah,
that was an Azure Day, right?
Yeah.
Okay, no, so that was alright. So where was
Summerfest will always be at the end of August.
Yeah, let me scroll. I'm just playing the who we grabbed. That's fun to have around. That's still hanging around and been really useful and helpful to the community.
I definitely remember we picked up Yuki during a parade.
Yuki was the Azure Day.
Right.
And she just started following me around during the parade.
and Yuki was a good get.
Yeah.
Shout out to Yuki. If you're listening to this, we love you.
Oh yeah.
Well, also returning is Who Wants to Be a Gillionaire at 3 p.m. on Saturday. That is our game that is very similar to Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, but Final Fantasy version. And we have a whole stage with lights, music, all that. Definitely come check that out. It's going to be at the FC Hall, 3 p.m. PST on Saturday, which is also 6 p.m. EST. Followed by that, we've got one of two chances to get into a commemorative Free Company photo gathering taking place at 5 p.m. PST on Saturday. It's 8 EST. Followed by the amazing riddle race, which we haven't done in a while. Last time was kind of funny. We actually had some people camouflaged into some areas, like getting Zalissa to wear all green and hide in that one spot in the shroud.
That was amazing.
It's pretty mean, but funny. And the riddles were pretty tough. Well, this time we are kind of making a medium difficulty. So
I'd just like to give everyone a hint for the riddle race. Remember to look up.
Yes.
Oh my
That was
god.
the one riddle race I won.
That was not the last one we did, but the one before that. I remember because I was like the second riddle giver.
No one could find Sebastian.
Oh,
And
yeah,
that was the last one.
That was the one in the Sylphlands, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So Sebastian was up in. If you've ever been to the Sylphlands, up in the trees, there's these little night elf-looking house thing, and Sebastian discovered you can actually stand on them. But you cannot see these from the ground unless you look straight up in first-person mode.
Wow, that's crazy.
I don't remember what sparked me. So I just got super pissed off that I couldn't find him, and I knew I was in the right spot. So I just got on my mount, and I flew straight up to try to look down across the entire Sylphlands. And I realized that you could land on the roof of these things. I was like, wait, can you go into the... Oh my god, you can go into the houses. And so I started looking around Seba. Like, I had everyone.
Yep, the amazing riddle race is pretty amazing. It is a combination of hide and seek / find a person that will give you an item that you need to take to the very end when the riddles lead you to the last one. It's usually about 5 or 6 people you got to find, or five including the final. So we've got our summer auction coming back. So the auction is a great place to maybe get some deals and help fundraise for the FC. There is spending limits, so people with super deep pockets cannot just monopolize everything. So there is some fairness there. There's also low-tier items and high-tier items. Low-tier items start at 20k. Low tier is anything under 500k, so you might actually get something for 300k for 20k if you're lucky. Who knows? And 200k is the bids for the really high big items. So you might get something that costs $1 million for 200k. You never know. Bids that go way beyond they're welcome to, but you might cap yourself out. And then funds will go towards the FC chest and sorry, FC needs and future special events and prizes. And finishing off, what's that?
Zoohorn.
Zoohorn. Yes, I'm so glad you brought that up because that is a huge meme that we have for our auctions.
Was it 2 million?
There has actually been some people asking about Zoohorns, like almost every day leading up to Summerfest this week. They're like, "Is there going to be a Zoohorn?" And I'm like, "Do you want there to be a Zoohorn?"
We always want a Zoohorn.
Well, for those that don't know, a couple years. This is actually a really good little quick story. A few years ago, we had. This is actually more than a few. Actually, it's like maybe 5 or 6 years ago. We had an auction where. This is back when the airships for the FC Hall, which we continuously run to bring in items for the strong FC buffs, the grade 3 ones that we can get 2 a week of, and for any other prizes or prize mats or things we can unlock for the workshop. They started bringing in tons of these Iron Voyage spoils, which is an item you turn in to get a Zoohorn, which the Zoohorn you use and it gives you the Zoo mount. But we had so many Iron Voyage spoils. We had almost 100. And then we were like, we got to get rid of these somehow. And so we made it to where like Manhunt, which is our, it's like a hide and seek on crack game where tons of people get into a seekers party to find a fugitive. But so we did a thing where like all the seekers, if they won, all the seekers would get a Zoohorn. So that weekend, like 26 people got Zoohorns. And then we go to the auction and there was like 5 to 10 Zoohorns like constantly being bidded on. And then we had random flash raffles with Zoohorn. There was so much Zoohorns at that one event that Zoohorn became a meme. Like, and you get a Zoohorn, and you get a Zoohorn. And yes, even you get a Zoohorn. And so then the jokes just went on from there. And we did a thing where, okay, it was kind of mean, but it was funny. It was funny. A mystery prize at the auction, and man, some of those mysteries, people get really excited about the mysteries because sometimes the mystery prizes has been something crazy like a Night Pegasus whistle, which is usually like, I don't know what it is right now, but it's usually like 50 million gil mount, and there's only like a few on the market board, and they're always extremely obscenely expensive. And somebody might have bid 10 mil on a mystery prize, and they got a 50 mil amount or whatever like that. But then the next thing was another mystery prize, and it was a Zoohorn, and somebody spent like 10 mil on a Zoohorn.
Oh my god.
I know one person specifically that was pretty salty about it, and then another one that got one. They well, not like salty. I mean, they were they literally said, "I'm glad it goes to the FC," but they were like, "Man, like I had no idea." But some of them knew about the Zoohorn joke, so people were like really cautious. Like, is it a Zoohorn? Is it not a Zoohorn? Like messing with them psychologically. It was pretty funny. And I know one guy that actually bid on the Zoohorn and then got one as a gift later, and he was like so mad.
There was that one Zoohorn that we just kept passing around on auctions.
Oh yes, the legendary Zoohorn.
The legendary Zoohorn.
There's one Zoohorn. Yes,
Up with it.
exactly. There is a legendary Zoohorn, and it finally ended. Like it had gone around. There used to be an officer that was today's general rank who would buy it back in the auction. He would fight for it tremendously, get it back, and then put it back into the donation for the auction specifically, and do it. It kept it up for almost 5 years. Almost 5 years, from like 2016 through like 2021, and then we finally let it go. We were like, okay, this is a raffle for the legendary Zoohorn, and then thankfully the person that got the legendary Zoohorn didn't put it back in. That one item had traveled around. Okay, we got to move on. No more Zoohorns. Well, we might. Who knows? There might be a Zoohorn this weekend. We don't know. Who knows? For Sunday, finishing out the Summerfest schedule, we've got darts, diving at random target scenario, fling your body off of a high place towards a bullseye, win a prize. This is a classic favorite because it never gets old. It's easy to run, and it's easy to enter, easy to play. We might have a couple new locations to jump off of this time. See if we can, see how many bodies we can get. It's really funny if you're actually on the ground and you look up and you just see like 80 people flying down, dying, and it's funny. It's pretty funny. And we've got our second parade. We're doing 2 parades. Several people have asked, I can't do this one day, but I really want to be the Azure Day Parade. So I was like, okay, we'll do two, and then we'll mix it up a little bit. So maybe one of them might end differently than the usual. We'll see what happens there. And one of the most highly requested and infamous Azure events is the amazing Azure Maze Race.
No.
No.
You won't trap me in that
No.
again.
It's 3 stories this time. I've heard already about it.
Oh my god, I remember last year. It was great.
The Maze Race is pretty insane. Once again, for those that don't know, this is a 3-story maze built in a mansion in Shirogane. And don't worry, if you don't have Stormblood, we have a way to get you there. You'll just have to friend General Ari Svoger so that you can do a state teleportation. You can get there pretty quickly. She'll be on, of course, and will be available to take any friend requests. But other than that, the Maze Race, 3 stories of maze. 3 stories. So you've got an entire mansion bottom, which is a very big room, and then you've got the mid floor, which is still pretty big, just has stairs in the middle, and the top floor is like two side rooms and a bridge in between. And what's crazy is it's not just walls. It's not just trying to find your way, through a dim room with walls and trying to get to the end. No, in fact, this is a race and a game where you have to quickly try to find all the hidden objects in the maze and then present them in a list via tell to me at the bottom end of the maze, wherever that end is. And there's some tricks. As usual. Our maze is it's got some mean parts to it. I know a lot of people commented on, they finally make it through the top 2, they get to the bottom and they're like, what is this? And it's like you're coming down the stairs into this overgrown factory, and there's this room, you walk through this little door, and then there's 13 doors in a circle, and everybody's just like, what the crap? It's pretty hilarious. We're gonna have something very similar this time. It's going to be a highly edited version of what we did last time, because last time was such a big hit. And I actually noticed, I went over there to the maze house and saw that we actually weren't even using even anywhere close to all of the spots. We have about 100 more spots. That's 100 new possibilities. People ask, how do you, what's your inspiration for making these? And, simply put, the fact that we could do it, but also the fact that when building Azure Day events, one thing I try to do is figure out how much I can torture the FC and how much, how many laughs we can have by having some of the most ridiculous, but also really fun. Wait, hold on. Before we move on, I have to say, we did already, because there's people who are going to send me tons of suggestions, and you guys are more than welcome to send me suggestions, but we did already do a rainbow maze, and it was actually making people nauseous. And we also did a Halloween one where it was pitch black with black walls. It was super mean. So
yeah, that's the one that made me
I
swear off.
remember the rainbow one.
The Halloween one made me just swear off mazes forever.
Dude, I spent like 30 minutes in the last year's one, and I still never got through it.
You guys got to come see the new one. It's pretty amazing. Maybe it'll be unbelievable as well. Who knows?
Oh,
Ah, the ball puns.
here we go.
But they're ballistic.
I was waiting for that one.
I'm just kidding around.
Ah.
Okay. So 4 p.m. Summer Beach Party and Day 2 commemorative FC group photo op. So if you didn't get the chance to show up for a really big FC photo, if you've seen some of our media or like a cover photo on Twitter or things like that all over the community, sometimes you'll see these really big group gatherings, and those are commemorative shots. Those shots go down in history as moments that we did really fun stuff, gathered together, and it's like pretty much the only time you're going to see like 50 plus people in one big shot, and they look really, really nice too. And it's great to remember, that weekend and also the FC buy. So we provide a second one on Sunday. It's going to be 4 p.m. PST, 7 p.m. EST, and it also follows a beach party at the same time, which is basically going to be a gathering at Costa del Sol in great number, which you don't get to see a lot of people at one time. Everybody's over at the summer event, but you don't get to see a lot of people around like the Flying Shark and utilizing that to do little mini games or raffles. So,
by the way, apologies.
Yep.
We need
You
to
guys gotta get
drop
going?
to get to our. Yeah,
Okay.
we gotta go to our thing.
Okay, no problem. You guys take care. Thanks for coming
Later.
by.
Later.
Thanks, guys.
It's Nora and Mistithgar stepping out, and Osh and Terry are still with us here. And so coming up on Sunday, last events on Sunday is Dashing Dungeon Delvers. It's a very popular Palace of the Dead race. See how far you can get, and then step out at the 45-minute mark, and then everybody submits screenshots, and we got team prizes for the 2 winning teams. Usually we get about maybe 3 to 4 teams that enter that one. And then, of course, we have the ever-popular Glam Contest, the ASF 2022 Glam Contest and Masquerade. We do know that people in our community have asked us if there's a non-competitive position where they can still, come out and show off a glamour. So we have a walk-on category and then the actual glamour contest competitor category. So if you want to check out the description on the website over at AzureInfinitum.com on the Summerfest page, there's a whole rundown on how that will work, and we'll also explain it when we get there as well. And the Azure Cup Chocobo Racing Grand Prix. Either of you guys into Chocobo Racing?
Yeah, I did it. I think I did it last year. Wow, it was
I
quite a bit
like
of
it.
fun.
I just haven't leveled my Chocobo on this character after I switched to this as my main.
Well,
So I am way behind on that.
What's nice though is that it syncs. So the Chocobo race is actually pretty fun. We got 2 parties. Both will basically compete against each other while racing themselves until they get down to where we can combine them. So it's 4 and 4 they combine, and then the final 8 will race. And of course, there will be judges present, and if the judges are who are also racers lose, they'll actually stay way behind and then just watch to see the race. And then when they come out, we'll get a first, second, and third prize and name the victor of the new Azure Cup for our Chocobo Racing Grand Prix that we run on quarterly events. Also finishing off the night is Triple Triad. I know we have some Triple Triad connoisseurs, fans of
We're gonna
games.
lose to Faye. Faye's gonna Fayerin spent so much time getting that mount. Just have the option of every card in the game.
Yeah, we got a few people who are really passionate about Triad, but I don't want that to intimidate anybody listening or anybody that wants to come, because we do use reverse rules, and even if you have a starter deck, you still have some strong cards, because reverse means that the lowest numbers are the best. Highly recommend maybe picking up a few more though beyond the starter deck that have 1s in them, because that's my tip. That's my secret tip. So get some more cards that have 1s in them. They will do you good. But we do best of 3 rounds, and it's a bracketed tournament, and it will take place at the Azure Summer Arcade, which is going to appear on our top floor of our hall. That is 8 p.m. PST, 11 EST on Sunday night. And of course, we're going to have a closing ceremony and raffle off after that, and that will be Azure Summerfest 2022. What are you guys looking forward to the most?
Probably darts, honestly. Darts is usually my favorite. Darts and always cards against Eorzea. Always.
I don't know, I always like the maze, and then the just hanging out with the FC and watching everybody enjoy the time.
I didn't know I could choose the easy cop-out answer of friendship.
Friendship.
You can't beat the power of
That's mine
friendship,
too.
right?
Can I change my answer?
Oh, you can. Yeah, of course. You can.
Yeah.
You can add to it if you want.
Honestly, the best is always just hanging out with the FC. Like,
Of course.
it doesn't matter what event we're doing. Even if you're not participating, you can come and watch most of this stuff because it's just going to be in openly accessible areas.
Oh yeah.
If for whatever reason you don't have flying and can't get somewhere really quick, we got a lot of people willing to taxi you around to wherever we have to go, as long as you can actually get to the zone.
I remember my
definitely.
first couple of years in the FC, and that was always the best part of Azure Day events, is just seeing the excitement from the members. It's pretty awesome.
Oh yeah. You get new people. They don't. A lot of SCs, they have events. They have events, and there's some that have done really awesome events. large scale stuff that takes a while to put together, a lot like Summerfest. But then they either invite, like the whole server, or they have like a multi-FC thing going on. You don't see a lot of singular communities that put on something that runs this long, that's kind of organized almost like a convention, but mini games. Lots of mini games. Excuse me. And so
all of leadership is basically dead by the end of it, especially because we're doing 12-hour days this time.
Oh yeah. So Summerfest is our biggest thing of the whole year. It's 1 day longer than an Azure Day weekend, and this one actually has several major events that are usually main events for each day on for both days on Azure Day weekend. So things like the Glamour Masquerade, things like our big game shows like Who Wants to Be a Billionaire. Those are big things. Riddle Race, those things that we spend time way ahead of time making trivia for, gathering prizes, taking prize donations, setting up, just the whole logistics and everything. It does take a minute to put together, but we're kind of firing away with like some of our big things throughout pretty much all 3 days. And so it's gonna be something. It's gonna be something. It's funny because like this event isn't even meant to be like for recruitment, but people see us having fun and they just join in, and that's always a good feeling. So that's the whole point of everything. Just have a lot of fun together, give out a lot of prizes, do some crazy stuff, and see things you don't normally get to see. Definitely don't walk into people doing giant parades and mini games very often. So, but I'm excited.
I imagine how confused people are going to be seeing us play darts. Why are these people just jumping off? That's my favorite part.
Massive people jumping off the cliff.
That is always really funny. Like there's the observatory in Central Curtis? Oh, I said Western Central Curtis.
Yeah,
that's one of our big locations, and you get these level 30, 40 people doing their MSQ, and they just walk up and they all of a sudden they're like turning into quests, and the guy's like, "Thank you for fetching me some garlic. Here's some gill," and then like 50 people rain down upon them.
My favorite part always was when we did the parades, and you would just see people stop exactly what they're doing and just stop and stare at us while we're going.
Yep.
Zone.
So many things in like yell and shout chat going, "What is this cult?"
Yeah. What is this? What is this? Yeah. Yeah, though it's really funny when they say that too. It's just like, yeah, we're just proud of our community. We're having a parade and having a good time. It's one of many activities that a decently active sizable guild can put together, and something that not everybody gets to see all the time. So, in fact, you can probably go out and sit in Thanalan for a year and probably not see anybody but us. Be a parade going by. So, unless there's a group I'm unaware of.
I don't think I've ever seen parades. Like, I've been around for quite a while, and I think we're the only ones that really do it.
I know, yeah. Like, I'm sure there's some out there. Like, I know there's there's been some groups in the past that have done like pride events in game, but not an FC like parading, or marching for their FC or something like that. So it's pretty unique, and it's like. Like I said in the description for it, that it's not just a bunch of like walking and just being a parade. Like we stop, we do raffles, we wave at people. Walking together through some of those zones is actually kind of a unique experience. You take a moment to kind of stop and see the surroundings while in a slower way. You're walking, you're not just rushing to like the next quest, and then you never get to see that many people really in one spot like that unless you're like maybe around during launch or something. But even then they're not parading, so that's pretty cool. The second, like I said earlier, the second parade, we're going to do something a little different than our usual route. Our usual route starts in Gridania, and then there's just this perfect path that leads all the way back to Mist. Then we get back to Mist where our estate is. We go on to the next event, and it's just really fluid. But this time, for Sunday's parade is going to be a little different. We're going to end at a different spot that I don't know if we've ever. It's an aetheryte that we've never like circled around. So it's pretty. It's something. It's pretty cool. So a lot going on this weekend. PvP, game shows, raffles, races, contests, prizes, explosions of fun everywhere in all directions possible. We're not just turning it up to 11. We're turning it up to where the dial breaks. We put a lot into this. Even like I said, Trivia Rush got a big upgrade with over 10 contestants. Or no, it's not. Sorry, not over. Up to 10 contestants, and then of course the squares are even going to have they're like kind of like Mario Kart. You get to a certain part and you get like a little button. It's not going to be like a floating square with a question mark on it, but there will be items in those squares that you can actually use to verse your opponents. So we're trying to think of some really cool versions of different favorites. So now that we've talked about Summerfest in great detail, let's move on to our other big thing happening this week, which is the patch.
So exciting!
That's game wide, of course.
Yes.
And patch 6.2 of Final Fantasy XIV is going to have new main scenario quests. And so main scenario is focusing, and this is a light spoiler warning. 5 millennia ago, the great worm Azdaja vanished into the void, and for long years Feature had despaired of being reunited with his dear sister. With the encouragement of his people, however, he has found the resolve to search for her and sets forth with the Warrior of Light for a world engulfed in darkness. And that is why a lot of us think we're going to the void, or there's going to be a lot of void, related stuff going on.
A lot of minor spoiler for last content patch is that basically we were trying to figure out what the crap was up with the void the entire time. So
yeah, there's a lot to consider. So main scenario specifically, what are you guys thinking we're gonna see?
I don't know. They've surprised me pretty consistently from my expectations. Whether it's either just completely subverting it or going like above and beyond what I expected. So I'm not. The reason I didn't jump in on that bet with Misty and Nora earlier is that I don't want to put all my eggs in any basket when it comes to Yoshi P and storytelling.
There's no telling where we'll go next. It's amazing. Every time we get a new patch, it's always something different.
Yeah, that's why I was saying, I used to predict a lot, and I still kind of try to, because, Meracidia, New World, etc., it's not obvious, but now, it's like, is this world unsundered? There's the universe, all these things, and I don't know what to think at this point. Obviously, I think the Void is going to have something to do, the 13th is going to have something to do with where we're headed in general, whether that's 7.0 or just the 6.x patch series even. We might, what if something big happens and the whole Void issue is over and done with by 7.0. 7.0 is something worse or something,
I'm
crazy.
Almost expecting that because they've been hyping it up so much that I don't trust that being what's actually going on. Kind of like spoilers for people who haven't done Endwalker yet. How quickly we took care of Zodiark.
Yeah.
Hyped up as the big bad, and then here we are, and it's so early in the story.
He ended up just being a mobile suit for Fandaniel, and then we knocked it out and went on to the next thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything could happen. I think anything could happen. So, besides story, we've got Pandemonium Abyssos raids. That is the 5th through 8th part of the 3-part Pandemonium 8-man raid series. The next part, I should say, coming out in 6.4. So it's gonna be a while till 6.4 till we see the finale. That means that this part is the middle chapters. So there's a lot that's probably gonna go down. Looking at some screenshots, we're seeing a guy that everybody says is La Habrea.
Yeah.
We're seeing some very scary carbuncle and some really cool gear with some VFX and a scary tree. But the whole synopsis for Abyssos is, after a hard-fought battle, order's been restored to Asphodelos. So now the inner circles of Pandemonium remain in the grip of a mysterious force. The remaining warders are nowhere to be found. You and your allies will steel yourselves and press forward, but what awaits those in the unknown depths might shake even the most steadfast resolve. So yeah, scary tree, scary carbuncle, and I see a guy who's definitely an ancient. He's wearing the garb of the ancient, but he's got this big green dragon thing coming out from the sun. Have you seen that one?
Yeah, that's the screenshot they've been using to promote it the most.
I don't know if that is a a male or female character. Actually, I can't tell.
I think it's a male, but I'm not 100%. You can't always be sure in anime-style games.
I don't know.
Who knows how they choose to identify? Yeah.
And then so Pandemonium, yeah. So that's going to correspond with our event. So like we said towards the beginning of the podcast, Tuesday is the beginning of Azure Pandemonium Tuesdays Part 2. The first part ran right after Endwalker came out, when the Pandemonium raids released just a few weeks into Endwalker, and we had a great raid series for that. And that finished up, and then Aglia, the 24-man, came out. Now that is had its time, it's back to Pandemonium again for 1 through 4, 5 through 8 runs, which is 1 clear of each. So 1 clear of each. You come to the yard 2 times. There's going to be 2 opportunities per day, a primetime and a late night run. Primetime groups at 5:45. We actually have not released the exact time that late night is going to come out, but it's going to be listed on the poster very, very, very soon. Everybody in our Discord is going to get tagged with that update, so you guys will all know exactly when the late night time for late night Azure Pandemonium Tuesdays and the prime time, like I already said, is 5:45 PST, which is 8:45 EST. We're going to do 1 run of each, so that's going to be 4 trials. The first week is week 1 clears, so I do ask for a little bit of patience for those attending. That the first week we are like right there at eye level, for most of us, and
speaking of eye level, between when we talked about it at the top of the show and when we're talking about it now, I did look it up. Apparently, the recommended eye level, or the minimum eye level, is going to be 585.
585. Okay, so those who have been ultra prepared doing Savage are still just going to be just like 20 levels above that. So it is going to be a process of learning these fights, getting through them. They're not going to be like quick 15-minute affairs. They're probably going to be about 20, 25-minute fights, depending on the difficulty. I don't know. Last time we mowed down the first couple, and then everybody stopped at the Phoenix, the Phoenix thing.
The boss can't spell its own name.
Yeah, the Phoenix. I don't even know if I'm probably not even pronouncing that right, but it's an old Greek word. But we'll see. Maybe the tree is going to be the big one we get stuck on, or maybe it's the person with the snake, or maybe the scary carbuncle. But I hope the scary carbuncle is really, really, really challenging, but not like being right against the wall challenging. So
I don't want it to be a door boss, but I want it to be fun. Like
yeah. Well, we'll see how that goes. We've never had a problem like clearing all 4 on day 1. It's just that we'll use like that whole 2-hour time slot instead of just being done in an hour. So definitely come prepared for that. What's that, Terry?
So it's a bit of a learning curve. First time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. Maybe
we will have people in the FC. Some of our people who are into like higher end raid content and ultimates and stuff will be try-harding it all day to try to figure out the mechanics to help guide us all. So again, shout out to our support team on that.
Definitely. I had the thought of that too just now, that so there are hosts who will want to be as ready as possible. So the patch does go live very, very early in the morning, and that actually allows a lot of people way ahead of time, like over 12 hours before the event even happens. They're going to be going through it probably multiple times prior to the event. So there's some reassurance to our attendees that some of us will know what we're doing, even though it's like brand new on day 1. So that's...
Claudia had said in FC chat earlier that he has set an alarm for 5 a.m. EST in preparation for the patch going off early, and I'm sure he's going to jump right into that.
Same here. I'm gonna try to get that unlocked and just get as ready as possible. I'm a little behind on gear because I was away a little bit earlier this year, so it was a little hard to keep up. But now things are things are getting back to normalcy. I know some people listening might be confused by that. I went through a long move, so we know how moving goes. That I could spend a long time talking about, but we're going to talk about 6.2.
Yeah.
So Island Sanctuary. Island Sanctuary is a pretty big thing that has been promised since way before Endwalker, like I want to say early 2021, when I think it was the Fan Fest that revealed it, Was it FanFest in 21 that revealed it? I'm not sure, but it's been a long time. We've seen that one artwork and barely any info for a very, very long time until now. Now we're seeing screenshots, we're seeing some gameplay. Island Sanctuary, the official description is find a sanctuary in an island paradise, abundant with wildlife, where crops may be sown and minions let to roam. What will you learn in nature's embrace, and what will you create with this newfound inspiration? Make ready to set sail, for your hideaway awaits. So we see not like housing, but like buildings that can be utilized, and there looks like a ranch for minions to hang out and walk around. I'm sure there's going to be like gathering involved.
Yeah, there's a island specific gathering and crafting to upgrade your locations. There's a lot there. We could spend the rest of this going over what's going on in Island Sanctuary and barely scratch the surface. I read the patch notes.
Okay.
And just reading the patch notes in my head took me like 20 minutes.
Oh boy. I see there's a island rank or a sanctuary rank as well. So you're going to be getting island EXP for your islands. Your island itself levels up. There's a type of currency I see here. It's like a blue and a green. Like maybe it's a new. I don't know. We have scripts still, so it's not.
Yeah, I think that's probably going to be used for upgrading your facilities on your island. It's going to be the Island Sanctuary. The short of it, at least, is it's kind of basically Animal Crossing.
Okay,
like,
yeah. That's what a lot of people are kind of referencing a lot.
It was a joke meme at first, but it's pretty close to being true.
It does seem fun, though. It does seem fun.
Oh yeah,
and I know there's a lot of folks that they get done with a lot of other content and they don't really know, what else to do on a night. They've got all this free time and I don't know what to do. I've already done all the raids. I've killed all the bosses. I've gathered all the stuff. Well, here's another big time sink. So
I finished my roulette and there's half an hour till the event.
Well, that's really cool.
Yeah, it looks pretty interesting.
Yeah, I don't even usually go in for stuff like that, but Island Sanctuary looks like it's going to be pretty fun. Yeah. Especially because they said some minions are going to have unique behaviors when you release them on the island to walk around.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, we don't know which ones yet. They haven't told us any, but the screenshot that they posted with that announcement had a picture of the Abroader otter, so maybe it actually fishes.
Wow.
Who knows?
Interesting. That's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
It's a big zone though. Like I saw a video where they like went all the way to the top of the highest mountain and it was just humongous looking. It's the size of like a whole entire 14 zone. So
it's not going to be treated like housing, so you won't be able to use any of your own personal decorations on it. The island stuff is pretty much island exclusive.
Yeah.
But that said, you can visit your friends' islands even if you aren't far enough in the game to have unlocked islands yourself.
Oh, you can.
Yeah,
you can visit friends' islands. Okay.
Yeah, that was one of the things that was in the preliminary patch notes. Is that there's going to be like I think a special menu or something for it.
Oh, okay, that's cool. I mean, it makes sense. It'd be kind of weird to like not have anybody see all your hard work and everything. So
yeah,
that's pretty. Cool.
Just have a zone that exists exclusively for like maybe a title. Like no.
Okay, so we have instanced individual islands. Why can't we do that with housing?
Spaghetti code.
Yeah, I know. I know the answer of just,
It seems like such a cop-out, but it's always the answer. Like, why is this old thing better? Because this new thing is better. Because
maybe they can do that with a new housing zone.
They should. The next time we get a housing zone on, like, Mare Elementorum or whatever, like, just instance it.
Yeah, there's, like, several quests now. People want Charlian housing and Moon housing.
I think we're probably going to get Moon housing.
Moon would probably stand out the most, but the Charlian one might also make sense because usually housing is also tied to there being some sort of like faction that's a part of the alliance that they have in the story. So
yeah.
I don't know for sure.
I was just thinking because like after spoilers for people who haven't finished Endwalker, at the end of the game, like they all the Loperates, instead of going, well, this was supposed to be a vessel to escape the end of days, they're like, we're just going to turn it into housing. Like what?
Okay.
What do people want? What do people like? That's why Astinian, or not Astinian. That's why God, why can't I think of his name? Urian J has been hanging out there so much.
True. I think there's a lot more to do with all that. Like in the future. I mean, there's just so much they could work with. Like I said earlier, we could be exploring the universe for all we know, like at some point in 14. There's a lot established, of course, with the Omicron quests coming out. If you actually go to the place where the Omicron quests are going to be at, right now you can actually ask them about like other life and what they plan on doing with that little like hub where they're at there in whatchamacallit, Ultima Thule.
Ultima Thule, yeah.
But we got a new dungeon coming out. We got the Fell Court of Troya, which is really interesting because I'm actually playing through FF4 After Years right now on PSP, and they just mentioned
nice.
Troya in that game. So I'm really curious how far these references are going to continue to go here to Final Fantasy IV.
They've been going really hard on it. Like one of the pre-order bonuses for Endwalker was the Porum minion.
Yeah. Yep.
All of our artifact gear is gear from 4.
Yeah.
Like,
it just keeps going. Well, I'm loving it though, because 4 is a really, really good game. It's really...
4 is one of the best Final Fantasies for sure. 4, 6, and depending on your taste, either 7 or 9 will take the 3rd slot.
And we have a secret trial on the website. It says secret. Oh
trial. Yeah, they haven't announced what the new trial and the new EX are going to be.
Yeah. At long
so that's going to be fun to
the warrior
figure out.
Arrives in the void. In that endless dark, they shall encounter a terrible new foe. I have a feeling I know what it is. Like a strong feeling.
I have a strong feeling too. Based on, again, sorry for everybody who's listening to this who hasn't done Endwalker and stuff. Like, but spoilers for Endwalker post MSQ, it's probably going to be Ritra's sister.
Oh, that's a good thought. Have you given any? Have either of you guys thought about the 4 Archfiends?
Ooh, I would love to see that. I would love to just see them be actually like the last level of Pandemonium, though.
Because we saw a little trailer after Endwalker, or was it patch 6.1 with Golbez and the 4 Archfiends.
Mm-hmm.
They were in that cutscene. I mean. So that's what is that? Rubicante, Cognazzo, Barbaria, and Scarmiglione EX potentials.
Rubicante is the one I always forget about.
Yeah.
Even though Rubicante is like my favorite of the 4. Like,
like I don't know. There's 4 there. Just like with the weapons. We got a little bit of a preview on that, and in Alexander there was a little bit of a preview on that. It's always the 0.1 patch. That's what makes me think there's a trial series coming up that has to do with. Those guys. Whether that's going to be all 4, maybe Golbez will be like a boss in one of them. But Golbez is in the freaking game. That's a villain of Final Fantasy IV, the original 4.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, so
yeah, I could definitely see them being like the weapon series, and maybe Golbez is like a solo duty or like
yeah. So I'm gonna read
lots of options there.
I'm going to read through a few more a little bit quicker just because we're reaching an hour and a half now. So we have got a variant dungeon. They still in Subterrane. They said that they were going to be doing variant dungeons followed by an even harder version, which would be like another dungeon, another Sildon Subterrane, which is the Criterion dungeon. It's supposed to be a Savage level difficulty dungeon.
Pumped for those.
Very curious to see how that goes and how we might actually be able to utilize that for the FC. We have talked recently about Friday Night Fights sort of evolving now that it's been going for a little bit. That's our entry to Savage event that takes place on Friday nights. We've been talking about that evolving a bit to maybe include the Criterion content, but we want to see what it's actually like. We want to actually get hands-on with it first. But Silde, or the Sildon Subterrane, is ruins that are like deep in Thanalan. That is a place basically where the Silde and I think another group had combined to make Ul'dah later on. So this is a kind of like Palace of the Dead is the Golmora ruins for previous to the Gridanians. So this is the ruins previous to the Ul'dah. Of course, Criterion. Okay, there's the Criterion. I see there's like this big white rat boss with a crown on its head. Have you seen that, guys?
I am not sure what to think of that yet.
And I seen a like a rat.
I
mount.
wanted it to mount though.
I think there is a mount. Isn't there? I think there's either a mount. I don't think it's a minion because I think I saw a mount. It's a big white rat mount. Oh, wait, those are the pots from Famfrit in the background.
I'm trying to find it.
If you go on the Buried Memory website for the new patch.
Yeah, I'm on patch notes.
Let me see here. I don't know where it's at in patch notes. I'm on the website for the patch.
Oh, I gotcha.
There's like a big white, it's like a white and pink rat with a crown that's a boss, and then it has the Famfrit pots of water like shooting down. So it looks like it has. I think I see. It almost looks like the mops from Grand Cosmos. That first boss.
Pull that back up right
Or
now.
brooms.
I looked at it.
The brooms. It's like a whole bunch of mechanics going off at one time. I expect the Criterion dungeons to have like a lot of different mixed mechanics from different things.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have to do. I'm almost certain we're gonna have to do Shiva circles at some point.
Yeah.
That's like one of the basic of the hard mechanics.
And then we've got Sephiroth Unreal coming out, so that's something we can probably expect for Monstrous Mondays.
Yeah, that'll show up eventually, but we gotta learn that first. That is.
Yeah.
Sephiroth EX was hard at 80. Like.
I remember
that
doing it at
that was
60.
pretty brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If people don't know how to resolve tethers, you just wipe. Like.
That's going to be fun. Then we have a side story called Tataru's Grand Endeavor. So this has something to do with the Sky Pirates we met back in Heavensward. And then somehow further Hildebrand Adventures with a big screenshot of Hildebrand on the moon.
It's Hildy on the moon. He got set there by a harpoon.
Well, if he can make it to the first, he can make it to the moon. So I'm convinced he can make it anywhere. He's just going to travel the universe now, solving mysteries.
And that's going to be a prereq for our upcoming Manderville relic weapons.
That's actually 6.25. So Hildebrand 6.25 along with the Manderville weapon 6.25. And Omicron Tribal Quest 6.25.
Yep.
So that is the main thing, except for they also have some main scenario revisions. There's like a list of things they're going to be revising. There's a few boss fights, few trials.
Steps of Faith. Steps of Faith is going to become a solo duty as opposed to a trial.
Yes.
And Thorn March is going to be reworked because it's going to be the first 8-man at that point.
Oh, right.
So
right. Yeah.
They're reworking Thorn March. It's going to be a little different than it was.
Says they're adding.
We're not quite sure how yet.
The duty support system will be added to Snowcloak, Keeper of the Lake, Somall, the Airy, and the Vault, and then further updates will continue to progress in future patches. And then the official release of Adventurer Plates. It's been an interesting ride for Adventurer Plates so far.
Oh my god.
And new fashion accessories coming out. There's a new umbrella. And
I think
what's that?
I think the mounts are
Less
pretty
than
cool.
savory adventure.
Did you see the mounts? You get the whole dungeon crew mounts.
Yes.
Yep, I see them now. Yep. I was a little bit further down where it was at. I was just taking a look at the titania wings, the new umbrella. There's like a new dance, the new tombstone gear, and new crafting recipes. So new crafted gear.
The new samurai crafted gear looks so good. I wish I was a Sam. Like,
oh, that does look good.
it's the one
see
dead
that.
center in the red. Oh,
Yep, I see that now. The knight in the back looks good. The Dark Knight looks good too to me.
oh, they all look really good, but I think the samurai one probably looks the best for my sensibilities. Samurai and ninja,
Really wish they would mix up the casters a little bit more.
as opposed to just here's another dress. Like,
I mean, and then just being in a different color scheme from each other with slightly different details. But it works. New minions. There's a flying squirrel.
yes,
Yeah. And
nimble mama.
that is the gist of the patch. So quite a bit. It's quite a bit coming up. So
This is gonna be a big one.
this week, I mean, goodness, it's summer, It's the end of the month. There's Summerfest at the end of the week. Earlier in the week is a patch. It's a really crazy patch. We've got new bosses, new dungeons, new all this stuff. I mean, people are getting ready for relics to come out once 2.5 drops, and just it's just a lot. It's a lot, and we're not complaining at all because we've been waiting for this. So
I was going to say, one note that isn't really addressed on the site, but was addressed in the preliminary patch notes, is that moving forward, every dungeon that was an expert roulette, with the exception of the newest one, Alzdal's Legacy, is going to be moved to its own roulette, which is 90s roulette. So expert will just be Alzdal in the new one.
Oh, okay.
So no more getting stuck in dead ends when you're doing expert, guys. Let's all give a cheer for that.
That's actually pretty nice. Like I remember, do you remember because of the pandemic, patch 5.2 lasted like 8 or 9 months or something like that. It was like February to October, and due to that, the Amarat dungeon was still in the X roulette, like I think almost that whole time, and people were so tired of running Amarat by the end of the year, by the end of 2020. So, you know, I'm kind of burnt out as far as having like end of story dungeons be in the X roulette. Personally,
yeah, me too.
As much as I want that Starbird.
Yeah, I was about to say I want that minion.
Yeah,
it never drops, and when it does, I never win it. But I'd like to choose to do it, not I'm doing my roulettes. Oh, it's this one again.
Exactly.
Great.
Exactly. All right, guys. So that covers all of the topics that we had today. We talked about Azure Summer Fest 2022 as well as patch 6.2 dropping this Tuesday, and there is a lot to look forward to. It's going to be a very, very, very busy week. So we've got a lot to look forward to. There's a lot going to be happening in our FF14 community as well as across Discord. You're probably going to see a lot of activity. Just overall, hope a lot of you guys who listen are looking forward to the weekend. Even if you can't make it all, even if you make just a little bit of it, you're bound to have some fun. If you can't make it, then there's always another one. But there is a full detailed program guide found at AzureInfinitum.com. You can check out any of the events, any of their times, get some information on what's going on, find out what happens during each of those mini games. Like I said earlier, there is a lot of contests and prizes to win. Things to enjoy, great gatherings. Making those memories together as an FC is the most important. The prizes are just a bonus. So thank you guys for listening. And thank you to Mist and Nora, who were here earlier, two of our lieutenants that joined us at the start of the podcast. And we have General Terry Mckinney and Lieutenant Oshkosh, who are here now. And thank you guys for joining us.
Of course.
Yeah, no problem.
And thanks for listening to Azure Infinitum Podcast. Stay tuned to the announcement channel on Discord as well as the website. We'll have some posts coming up on sort of some news roundups, things to look forward to, and what's going on in Azure moving forward. We have our anniversary coming up in November, a couple months from now. Prior to that, we are going to continue to keep this podcast running. We've got a whole season of raids starting literally tomorrow. And lots coming up. A couple months from now, we've got the Halloween event in October, finishing out the year with Starlight Fest. Of course, we're gonna go big for the 8th anniversary in November. And so we get a little bit of something every single month as we continue to work on a number of things related to activity, membership, fine-tuning our support and leadership teams, and overall, just like I said, manifesting the very best Azure Infinitum that we can possibly manifest together, as well as the Destiny Wing, which we are going to be working a little bit more closely on. Recruitment will increase a little bit over time. We're not trying to go super hard on it, but it is open to all who are interested in Destiny 2. Want to join us over there. There's an event once a week that we do that we mentioned earlier, taking place on Tuesday nights. Definitely check out the Destiny channel in our Discord.
Any questions about that, address them to either Mistithgar or Nora. They are our heads for that.
Yep, those are our wing commanders. And as far as other Azure wings, we haven't given a lot of thought at this time because we're trying to fine tune everything we got going on right now. The FF14 FC is our biggest priority. Oh my god, I got a hair in my mouth. Okay, our let me redo that. Our FF14 FC is our biggest priority, so that's always going to be our main focus. And we want to make sure that no matter what, that our 14 community is always locked in. There's always things on the horizon. We're going to be doing this for as long as we can. So there is a whole new outlook on the game with future patches and expansions. I know there was a little bit of like, oh, is 14 ending because of the story? And it's like, that was just the first story. So as long as as long as Yoshi's at the helm, I think we can trust it being a very, very long time of stories and content and things coming out, and Azure's going to be right there surfing that wave as long as possible. So we talked briefly. Oh my god, I got another hair in my, what the heck? Oh, my mic has a hair attached to it that keeps getting on my lip. Okay, god. So we talked a little bit about at a previous assembly about 2022 and what that's been like so far. So briefly before we end here, I just want to say thank you to everybody in our community and our support and leadership teams for everything that you guys have done in my absence. I had a 6-month crisis going on. I'm not going to get into it too deep here, but I had a 6-month crisis in real life where our home was sold out from under us, and we had no way to plan for this at all, and it just basically resulted in us basically struggling to figure out what we were going to do in the middle of a housing crisis in real life. It was a mess, and a lot of wonderful people, a lot of wonderful, generous people donated to the campaigns that I ran for my mother and I to survive during that time. There's a lot of complications and that sort of thing, and this is really the first chance because I've been back for a couple of weeks. I was pretty inactive during that time, but I had to keep up with the council for the most part, and that was about all I could do. But this is my first chance really to, for those listening and anywhere else that I can thank everybody. Thank you to all who continue to not only support me, but also support each other in Azure while Azure's master had to be away, because of that emergency. So many people were good to each other. The council did their absolute best and really pulled together. Our support ranks were just awesome the whole time. We've seen some rising stars actually come from people that were like really energized to help and get involved, and it's led to a lot of opportunities for them and others, and just as much of a positive that we can make out of a negative is always a good thing. So it was really, really hard. It was really, really, really hard, but here we are today, and that is another reason why I wanted to make Summerfest even bigger than normal, because I want to give back the only way I really know how, and that's by just doing my best as your guys' FC Master and leader of Azure, and making sure that everybody has a really, really good time and we have a lot of fun together. So thank you guys very, very much. All right, thank you for listening to Azure Infinitum Podcast. Remember, you can subscribe. Go ahead and hit that like button below if you're on YouTube. You can comment any questions. We will be sure to answer. And definitely give us some ideas and feedback on what you'd like to see on future podcast episodes. Comment in our suggestions box in Discord. You can always post a ticket in the Submit Ticket channel. And don't forget, you can DM leaders anytime should you have any questions or feedback or comments. Thank you guys so much for listening.